This meeting of the Aurora City Council, March 10th, 2026, is hereby called to order at 6:03 p.m. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Barrero.
Here.
Alderwoman Garza.
Here.
Alderman Masiacos.
Present.
Alderman Nunez.
Here.
Alderman Franco.
Here.
Alderman Seville.
Here.
Alderman Banuelos.
Here.
Alderwoman Smith. Here. Alderman Bug.
Here.
Alderwoman Wade. Here. Alderman Larson.
Here.
Alderman White.
Here.
Mayor Lash is present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Just before we get started, I wanted to let everybody know we do have inclement weather and a threat of tornado. In talking to EMA, they're saying that it's moved south of Aurora, but just in case, we want to make sure if there is a need to evacuate the room, we'll go right through the door that you came in. Our Sergeant at Arms, the police officer there, will be standing there, so you do not want to use the elevator, but make an immediate right. And then there's a set of stairs that will take you down to the basement. Certainly nobody's forcing you to go down to the basement. You're welcome to go out in a hail and tornado on your own. But we want to make sure that if things do go awry, there's a place for people to go to be safe. Next, Sergeant at Arms, is there a motion to approve the Sergeant at Arms for this meeting?
Second.
Motion was made by Alderman Franco, second by Alderwoman Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries by voice vote. Next, I will ask Alderman Masiacos if you'd like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we'll move right to the mayor's report. We've got a full house and a long night, so take it away, John.
Thank you so much, Mayor. We are going to start tonight with the city's annual Ramadan proclamation. Members of Aurora's Muslim community are invited to join the mayor up front for the reading of the document. We have copies for each of the groups here, so you're all invited to come on up as we read out the proclamation here today.
Have the tall people stand back.
Yeah, if we could, let's have some of the taller people in the back and then some of the shorter people up front so everybody could kind of come together a little bit. That'd be great.
Yes. So we got to have people back here on the dais. Okay, thank you, John. Whereas Ramadan is the holiest month of the Islamic calendar and marks the first revelation of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad, and whereas the arrival of the new moon, Muslims in Aurora, the greater Fox Valley area, and throughout the globe begin the celebration of Ramadan in February. Whereas Muslims around the world observe the month by fasting each day from sunrise to sunset while praying consistently throughout the day and expanding their acts of charity to the community. Whereas Ramadan is regarded as a time for spiritual reflection, increased awareness, and giving to the global poor, sick, and hungry, and bringing of difference between people over a shared commitment to faith. And whereas the city of Aurora is proud to be the home to a thriving and growing Muslim community served by the Islamic Center of Aurora, the Fox Valley Muslim Community Center, the Beacon House Preparatory School, and the Masjid al-Abdur, and the Islamic Center of Naperville. Whereas Aurora is committed to recognizing the community service and civic participation efforts of our Muslim community as its members greatly contribute to the city's strength, diversity, and inclusivity. Now therefore I, Mayor John Lash, do hereby recognize the holy month of Ramadan in the city of Aurora and extend the greetings of Ramadan Mubarak and Ramadan Kareem to our Muslim community.
We gotta make like 2 rows if we can, squeeze in as much as you can. So shorter people in the front, taller people in the back, if needed. Yeah, that's how this is gonna work here. We can squeeze in as tightly as we can.
Justin, let us know what we gotta do.
No, that's, let's go get it. Okay? Okay, everyone.
We thank everybody again for coming out here today. You're going to be welcome to go to visit the Development Services Center. There's going to be some food and more time together. Special shout out to the Community Events Division for making that happen here tonight. I know Mike Nelson is here, so give him a round of applause too for making that happen here tonight. We have a couple of other news and notes from around Aurora that we'd like to get to before we move on to the rest of the meeting here. So on Saturday, we had Vibes on the River open here in downtown Aurora to much fanfare. The place was packed. So many people showed up that they sold out on Sunday. That's a good problem to have. Congratulations again to Vibes on the River. You can visit them. They're open now at 29 West New York Street, right in the heart of Aurora, and we welcome them to the city of Aurora and to downtown Aurora. This weekend, the Aurora Downtown District and the city of Aurora are also set to host a free, action-packed weekend of St. Patrick's Day shenanigans. Following significant community interest in hosting a more interactive event for St. Patrick's Day weekend, 15 different downtown businesses are set to go green and bring the Irish cheer. From delicious Irish fare and festive food specials to live entertainment and family-friendly fun, there's certainly something for everyone here in Aurora this weekend. You can find more information and get a closer view of that map on the screen at auroradowntown.org/downtown happenings. And finally, tomorrow is going to mark a big day for the city's My Aurora 311 team as they launch the My Aurora 311 Open Data Portal in conjunction with IT. Round of applause for My Aurora 311 and IT working together. As you can see on your screen right now, the portal features multiple dashboards that update in real time, tracking inbound and outbound calls, average call duration, and requests that have been completed by My Aurora 311 staff. It also boasts a new interactive map that depicts where requests for service come from the city, plus furnishes an interactive dashboard that compares the number of requests closed by staff in 2025 versus 2026. The launch of the portal comes exactly 1 year after the launch of the city's new customer service software, and since its inception, it's been a huge success. They've sustained a 128% increase in inbound calls, along with a 56% increase in online requests submitted. You can access that new portal tomorrow morning at myaurora311.com. Another round of applause for My Aurora 311, our frontline staff here in the city making stuff happen. So, appreciate everybody being here tonight, and thank you all for taking some time to listen.
Thank you, John. Next, we'll move to mayoral appointments. I'll ask clerk to please read the first item under mayoral appointments.
260099, a resolution authorizing the appointment of Lee Katevu and Toby Gill to the Deferred Compensation Administration Committee.
Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Alderwoman Garza, seconded by Alderman Franco. Are there any questions or discussions regarding this resolution? There being no further questions, I'll ask clerk to please call the roll.
Guerrero?
Yes.
Garza?
Yes.
Masiacos?
Yes.
Nunez?
Yes.
Franco?
Yes.
Seville?
Yes.
Banuelos?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Bug?
Yes.
Bade?
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. This resolution is approved. Thank you, Toby and Lee, for stepping up. Next, I know the next ones are on the Aurora Veterans Advisory Council. Did all of the aldermen receive the redacted D214s that were emailed over?
I don't believe I did.
Not all of them that are on the list, but all of them
That's
that were
correct.
sent to us. Yes.
Yep, that's correct. So there were several members who were out of town, I think. Nick, do you have just a minute? Just to ask any questions. I know there were a few people that were unable to get us their paperwork.
Hello, Nicholas Richard Thompson, Deputy Chief of Staff. Yes, they were sent over to Rich and should have been forwarded. There's only one that will not have it, but they are not a veteran. The board allows for, I think, 2 non-veteran members, so they would not have one. So there should be 5 appointments, and you should have 4 redacted DD214s.
Nick, can you tell us who the non-veteran is?
Curtis Wilson?
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Thompson?
I got a question. So I was under the impression when I talked to the group today that Mr. Cervantes has not submitted his. But you say he did?
He was actually the
Yes.
first to submit it.
Yeah.
Is DD2? Is DD 120? 214.
Yes, the
Did not
DD
get
214, it is in the email. And then the mayor's office did receive it, and we reviewed it, and legal actually went through and redacted it. I know that was a concern, having someone without the correct experience going through and redacting it, but
Was that today, or was that prior to today?
that was today, yes.
So that what happened was the president of the chair of the organization
There was miscommunication.
had asked for them to be sent to him, where we wanted them sent to the third floor. So Mr. Cervantes sent it directly to the third floor, and the rest were submitted later today. Is that correct? From
No, the email
Mr.
that was
Pfeiffer?
sent has all of them compiled. So we got them at different times, but when we sent the email, they were all compiled into one.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Alderman Nunez?
Thank you. So the email this is the 5:06 PM? Was that when
I
it was
believe so, yeah.
sent? Okay, I want to make sure I was looking at the right email. Thank you.
Of course.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to please read the next agenda item under mayoral appointments.
260106, a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Pedro Rodriguez to the Aurora Veterans Advisory Council.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Alderwoman Garza, second by Alderman Barrero. Are there any questions or discussions regarding this resolution? Hearing none, I'll ask clerk to please call the roll.
Barrero?
Yes.
Garza?
Yes.
Masiacos?
Yes.
Nunez?
Yes.
Franco?
Yes.
Seville?
Yes.
Benuelos?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Bug?
Yes.
Spade?
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. This resolution is approved. I'll ask clerk to please read the next item under mayoral appointments.
260107, a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Michael Zepeda to the Aurora Veterans Advisory Council.
Is there a
So moved.
motion to approve this resolution?
Second.
Motion was made by Alderwoman Garza, second by Alderman Barrero. Are there any questions or discussions regarding this resolution? There being no further discussion, I'll ask clerk to please call the roll.
Barrero?
Yes.
Garza?
Yes.
Masiacos?
Yes.
Nunez?
Yes.
Franco?
Yes.
Seville?
Yes.
Benuelos?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Bug?
Yes.
Spade?
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. This resolution is adopted. I'll ask clerk to please read the next item.
260109, a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Oscar Ramirez Jr. to the Aurora Veterans Advisory Council.
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
motion to approve this
Second.
resolution? Motion was made by Alderwoman Garza, seconded by Alderman Barrero. Are there any questions or discussions regarding this resolution? Hearing none, I'll ask clerk to please call the roll.
Barrero?
Yes.
Garza?
Yes.
Masiacos?
Yes.
Nunez?
Yes.
Franco?
Yes.
Seville?
Yes.
Benuelos?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Bug?
Yes.
Spade?
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. This resolution is adopted. I'll ask clerk to please read the next item.
260110, a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Curtis Wilson to the Aurora Veterans Advisory Council.
So moved.
Second.
Is there a motion to approve this resolution? Motion was made by Alderwoman Garza, seconded by Alderman Franco. Are there any questions or discussion regarding this resolution? Hearing none, I'll ask clerk to please call the roll.
Barrero?
Yes.
Garza?
Yes.
Masiacos?
Yes.
Nunez?
Yes.
Franco?
Yes.
Seville?
Yes.
Benuelos?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Bug?
Yes.
Spade?
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. This resolution is adopted. I'll ask clerk to please read the next item under mayoral appointments.
260113, a resolution authorizing the reappointment of Jose Jesus Cervantes to the Aurora Veterans Advisory Council.
So
Is there a
moved.
motion to approve
Second.
this resolution? Motion was made by Alderwoman Garza, second by Alderman Barrero. Are there any questions or discussion regarding this agenda item? Hearing none, I'll ask clerk to please call the roll.
Barrero?
Yes.
Garza?
Yes.
Masiacos?
Yes.
Nunez?
Yes.
Franco?
No.
Seville?
Yes.
Benuelos?
Yes.
Smith?
No.
Bug?
Yes.
Spade?
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
10 yes, 2 no.
Motion carries. This resolution is adopted. Okay. We want to take a minute to, do we have any of the new appointees, either Toby Gill, Lee Catavo, Pedro Rodriguez, Michael Zepeda, Oscar Ramirez, Curtis Wilson, or Jose Jesus Cervantes in the audience today. Stand up. Stay. John, you want to get a quick picture? Or Justin, sorry.
One, two, and three.
Any aldermen want to join Mr. Cervantes?
Right up here. Ready? One, two, and three.
Congratulations. Thanks, everybody, for their service. Okay, next we'll move to public comment. Madam Clerk, do we have any members of the public wishing to offer public comment?
We do, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. If I'll ask the clerk to please read the rules of public comment.
Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, all persons shall be permitted an opportunity to address public officials under the rules established and recorded by the council. Under our rules, any person may address the city council for up to 3 minutes with a maximum of 30 minutes allotted for all public comment. No person other than the timekeeper or the chair for the purpose of maintaining order may interrupt a person recognized for public comment during his or her comments. Members of the city council shall not engage with nor respond to a speaker during the time set aside for public comment. Staff is directed to follow up with members of the public with respect to any concerns raised during public comment within the scope of the city's authority following the adjournment of this meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Will you please read the name of the first person wishing to offer public comment?
Thank you. Vences Maravilla.
Welcome, Mr. Maravilla. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Thank you.
Feel free to adjust the mic if you need to.
Pardon me?
Feel free to adjust the mic if you need to.
Okay. Well, thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk. One of the things that I asked the gentleman that was talking, it was related to the showcase that we used to have there. And it was a trophy that it was won by some of the Muslim kids too. And because I used to work at the youth center, and we won like 3 or like national and regional championships. And that shows that as a senior citizen from the Hispanic community, we were able to embrace different kids, refugees from different countries. And we opened the door to give them an opportunity to move on in their lives. It wasn't only like soccer, it was like a mentoring program. And thanks to that, several of those kids, they are owners of business. Even though at the beginning they couldn't speak English, we had some kids from India, from Turkey, and they reached the stars. And a lot of us, we are senior citizens in the Hispanic community, but I can see, I mean, like I have an open heart surgery, like about 3 months ago, my wife has cancer, and I was a little disappointed that on Friday, I couldn't find a place where a senior citizen can go. I mean, as a Hispanic senior citizen, we had provided the city of Aurora with different things, all the way from hardworking people to do volunteer work, to do small businesses. Now we have a lot of our grandkids professional, but I would like to see more things for the senior citizen in general, not only, I mean, for the Hispanic senior citizen, because a lot of them, they are suffering now for like the immigration issues. And also I know some of my friends, they have their grandkids in the armed forces, and nowadays it's very, very hard for them to survive, and even the economy. And if we are able to find some kind of happiness for the senior citizen, I could appreciate it, very honest. I mean, and I know that you guys are doing an outstanding job, but we do have to work as a team. In that way, we can show Aurora that we care for our citizens. Thank you for your time, and good night.
Thank you, Mr. Maravilla. Our Director of Community Services is here, and if she could just meet with him briefly to get his contact information. I'll ask clerk to please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment.
Vernita Andrews.
Good evening, Council.
Welcome, Ms. Andrews. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Yes, good evening, and thank you all, especially you, John, Mayor, to my husband and all the other veterans who have served. I'd just like to say thank you. So this is like the third time me being here before the council. They say 3 times is a charm. So I just came to make myself clear to why I'm here. I want to say if the city of Aurora made a priority for veterans, it would have already been done by now. So Stable Able, which is my nonprofit organization, is here and ready to provide housing for veterans that they need and deserve. So we're here to step up to fill in the gap. So I'm asking today for your partnership, your support to make this happen. Everyone wants a piece of the pie, right? But for me, I want to bring a piece to the pie. And so with that being said, that every veteran deserves to have a seat at the table, and we're here to ensure, that they can have the resources and that they deserve. And again, I'm asking for your support to make Stable Able a cornerstone for our community, to make, this just really happen. So again, I hope this third time me being before you guys, impact, hopefully I can have said something to impact, your decision in helping bring stability or housing for veterans to Kane County. And again, thank you for your time, and hopefully I don't have to come back a 4th time. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews. If you want to also speak with our Community Services Director, I know we have some housing solutions, but nothing on veterans, but she can get your contact information. Thank you. I'll ask clerk to please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment.
Rick Lawrence.
Ethics and corruption. John, you made a campaign slogan out of that, and pay to play, pay to play, pay to play. You got elected mayor. What'd you do about it? Nothing. In fact, every contract that you said that Rich Irvin was corrupt and pay to play, you borrowed $100 million to fund it. You didn't cancel any of it. And then you did the credit card with, the whole thing with the credit card. You gave that organization millions of dollars more. You did nothing about it. And somebody could say all your staff, their husbands or whoever organizations they were involved in, they gave you money. Their spouse ends up with a job, paid more than they would ever be made in their life. Many of them. Taxpayers are paying over $500,000 in your pay-to-play for your campaign staff. You gave them all jobs, not because they were qualified, but because they worked for you. That could be corruption. So we came up with this gimmick. Mike, you've been around a long time, and all the time we've been around, one alderman was corrupt. and got arrested and convicted on that. Had nothing to do with campaign donations. Had nothing to do with it. If an alderman's taking a bunch of money, it's very obvious. It doesn't take money. I didn't take money as an alderman. I paid for it all myself. It was nothing. But all of Dan Barrera was absolutely correct. The corruption has always been questioned in the mayor's office and his staff. Get rid of the mayor's office, you end most of the problem. Alderman Franco, when he said we need a city manager, he's absolutely correct. Get rid of the political groups. Alderman Larson sitting up here because the DuPage County Democrats ran around and did a whole campaign. Did he declare that? No. They put his name on all the flyers and everything else. So this ordinance wouldn't change that. This ordinance is a gimmick. It's to pretend to the public that, oh, we're going to knock out corruption. When the corruption and all the contract is in the mayor's office and the staff that presents these corruptions. Yeah, I push back on the alderman for not standing up against the mayor and questioning some of those contracts. But that isn't because of campaign donations. That's a gimmick. That's just to pretend that you're doing something. But you did nothing about everything that you claim that Rich Irvin did. You actually funded them all. You put the taxpayers in debt, $100 million to fund what you said was corrupt. Why didn't you stop it? Why didn't you do something then instead of this thing and saying, oh, the aldermen can't, have this fee and that fee and do all this. The aldermen aren't collecting a bunch of money. It's very easy to see what aldermen. Mike, you know that. We've been around a long time. In the 40 years I've been involved in this city, it has not been an issue.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. I'll ask clerk to please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment.
So I have Kathy Yarborough.
Welcome, Mr. Yarborough. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for having me here. My name is Kathy Yarborough, and I'm a lifelong resident of Aurora, and I currently reside in the 4th Ward. I'm here to speak in support of the proposed ethics reform ordinance. Last year, over 2,000 Aurorans signed a petition to limit the campaign contributions to anyone doing business in the city. Many of us in Aurora were fed up with the pay-to-play that we saw occurring over and over again during the last administration. We've seen Scientel, Cyrus One, Factor, and Penn Gaming walk into town and get sweetheart deals. And our former mayor and some city council members, even though they gave them everything they asked for, even though it was against the best interest of some of our residents. And it's for this reason I'm asking that you pass this ethics reform. I'm going to give some examples of why we need this reform. The following are contributions to our alderpeople that I found on the Illinois State Board of Elections website. Alderman Bade, Scientel Solutions, $2,000 contribution. Alderman Garza, Scientel, $3,000. Alderman Smith, Warman Construction Group, $5,000. Alderman Franco, JH Real Estate Partners, $1,000. Lindsay Windows, $1,000. Scientel Solutions, $3,000. Strive Strategies in-kind donations, $9,000. Your Alderman Franco's total, $14,000. Some of our past alder people, these are all from Scientel. Alderman Warman, $19,000. Alderman Jenkins, $8,000. Alderman Lamas, $1,000. So overall, Scientel donations between 6 alder people was $36,000. That's half of the council and more than enough to sway votes and give out contracts. No one on our city council should have a problem with this proposed reform. It's simply holding everyone to a higher standard and providing transparency. This should apply not just to the mayor, but also the alder people. I believe that any alderman who wants to bypass ethical transparency will surely be replaced in the next election. The people of Aurora want ethical and transparent leaders. And so, as I wrap up, I ask all of you to act with honor, pass this ordinance to strengthen trust in our city government. This ordinance is long overdue. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Yarborough. I'll ask clerk to please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment.
Steve Belina.
Welcome, Mr. Bellina. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. I believe you're all sitting up there because you were voted in by the people. We the people. And you have before you today an ethics reform bill. So I have one question. Actually, I've got two questions. One, what would the harm be to the general public for you to pass that bill? You are up there to represent us, to take care of us physically, and to protect us. Why wouldn't you vote for that bill? If you don't vote for that bill, you're acting in your own interests, and you're not representing the people. And frankly, you shouldn't be up there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bellina. I'll ask clerk to please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment.
Salek Khalid.
Welcome, Mr. Khalid. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. For months now, you have been debating an ethics reform ordinance. As a 29-year resident of Aurora, I urge you to pass the proposed ethics reforms before you for consideration and to pass the strongest versions of them. All of you are obligated to represent the will of the people, and the people have made themselves abundantly clear. More than 2,000 Aurora residents signed a petition to put a referendum question on the ballot that would restrict campaign donations from companies doing business with the city. Alderwoman Patty Smith, you were the one to file the objection to that question appearing on the ballot. Coincidentally, you have also benefited from thousands of dollars in campaign contributions from donors affiliated with Fox Valley Developers, a company that won more than $24 million in incentives, tax sharing agreements, and city contracts during the administration of Mayor Richard Irvin. Speaking of the former mayor, he and his political action committee received more than $150,000 from Scientel Solutions, a company which over the years has won millions in technology and security contracts from the city of Aurora. Their generosity hasn't been limited to just the former mayor, but several Alder people, past and present. In fact, Scientel has donated thousands to the campaigns of Carl Franco, Wani Garza, and Shweta Bed, in addition to others no longer on the council. Multiple independent and nonpartisan outlets have been reporting on Aurora's culture of pay-to-play politics for years, leading to deep and widespread frustration among city residents, much of which was expressed in last year's municipal election, in which we saw a massive increase in voter turnout compared to years past. Alder people, listen to your constituents, respect the will of the people. Our city's reputation has been tarnished by corruption, perceived or otherwise. This is your chance to put us on the right track. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khalid. I'll ask the clerk to please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment.
Anonymous Aurora resident.
Good evening, everyone.
Welcome, Anonymous. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
I'm infamous for that. I just want to also real quick just help with Stable Able because my husband's a veteran and we need to help support our veterans as much as possible because of federal cutbacks. We need all the help we can get. And I also, along with many of you, I recognize the faces at the warming center. We have plenty of homeless people here in our community, and many of them are also veterans. So anything we can do to support an organization that will help that population, I would appreciate. I also want to help support our city workers. Anyone who is working deserves a fair contract and be able to be paid a fair wage and their benefits. I didn't know any of them were even going to be here till I walked in, so that was just an added comment. The Alder people who are here, some of which have history and were here before the current administration. As the previous people spoke, they have received plenty of money in the sources that they've gotten that from, like Scientel, Factor, et cetera. Those, every level of this administration, and Rick is trying to target just the mayor's office. It's not just the mayor's office. Everyone from the top down should have the same level playing field and the same scrutiny. So it's not fair to just ask for future alder people who are applying to go through these examination of their funding and stuff like that. It has to be the current people here too, because there's plenty of people that have a lot of explaining to do. I know now why there's some pushback also from the union people here tonight, because the unions have supported a lot of those campaign funds. So that's why they don't want the gravy train to end, apparently. We need some reform for the residents of this community. You've had at least 2,000 people who have put in their 2 cents in support of this. So it is unfair for our alder people to disregard their wishes. And believe me, when it comes time for re-election, we won't forget, because it's time that we clean house and that we have an opportunity to have more ethics in our local government. And the prior administration had a lot to be desired for that. It's systemic, and the rules should apply to everyone in every level. So I appreciate your time, and thank you. And for those who want more information about the individual alder people, you can also do a FOIA search, and you can also
Thank you,
ask.
Anonymous. Your 3 minutes
my time
is
up.
over.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you.
I'll ask clerk to please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment.
Jim Fudge.
Welcome, Mr. French. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council members, appreciate the time. It's nice to be here. I'm not going to speak about the ethics, although I could. That would be perfectly fine with us. We're good with that. We're here tonight because, as you may have seen as you walked into the building, we were demonstrating outside that we're having an issue with contract negotiations. We're the last union having difficulty getting to the end of the table. We're right near the finish line, and we're just not getting the response that we would like from your staff. So we would like a little bit of guidance if you could. Why are we out here this evening? We're out here this evening because we're at a standstill now, and we don't like to be at a standstill. Our contract expired in December of 2024. We've been negotiating since January of 2025 in good faith, and we'll continue to do so as long as we can get cooperation on both sides. That's what we're looking for. But we just seem to have, again, ran into a little bit of a log jam. Every other contract in the city has already been decided and has been determined and has been ratified, and everybody is doing everything that they should have done exactly as it should be. We're in a position now where we've gone into our negotiations, and I guarantee you we can point to each and every space, because this digital age that we're in, we're able to show what the other unions received in their contract negotiations, which is exactly what we're asking for in our negotiations. We're not asking for any more than anybody else. We feel that we're just as important to you as any other entity is with the city, and we want to be treated as such. We do not want to be treated as less. We've been offered less, and my members are not going to stand for that. We have nearly 180 members, and over 75% of them are women. I don't know if that matters. I don't know if that's anything important in this discussion. All I do know is that sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get to the finish line, and we're okay with that, but we're not going to accept less than anybody else has gotten, and we think that that's fair. We're just looking for a fair contract, as our sign said outside. Just give us a fair contract. Our members include a wide variety of people across the city, and I know that you have many different locals that you deal with, but you may not be aware of who's in our union. In our union, we have telecommunicators at the 911 center. We have the CDTs in the jail. We have the records department over at the police department. In this building, we have many of the financial institutions that we have positions within. We have all the customer service representatives in the city. We do all of the inspectors within the city, whether they be with property standards, building and permits, or even the fire department. We also have all the employees down at the animal control. So we have a wide variety of people who do various amounts of different jobs for different things at different times within the city. They're all critical services to you. We don't want to see any of that change. We're looking to make everybody's life better, and we think you can help with that. We don't always agree on everything when we
Thank
sit
you,
there.
Mr. French. Time
Okay.
is up.
Thank you very much for your time.
I'll ask clerk to please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment.
Karen Gallegos.
Welcome, Ms. Gallegos. Feel free to adjust the microphone. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Good evening, Mayor and fellow council people. My name is Karen, and I'm a resident of the 10th Ward. I just want to speak directly to my alderperson who represents my ward in where I live. I want you to vote yes and pass the ethics reform. 2,000 people signed a petition to have it on the ballot, and it was not considered. I have talked to neighbors, and they are all in favor of ethics reform. My only comment is to vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gallegos. I'll ask clerk to please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment.
Astra Geen.
It's drying. It's still drying.
Welcome. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
Thanks. Past the ethics ordinance. I think a lot of people have probably been calling and emailing you, whether you've been ignoring them or not. But like the people you represent want you to pass it. It doesn't go far enough. You're right. It should cover more elected offices. But if you wanted that to happen, that happened earlier in the process, not to the Chicago Tribune. That's it.
Thank you. I'll ask clerk to please read the name of the next person wishing to offer public comment.
Zach Bishop.
Welcome, Mr. Bishop. You have 3 minutes beginning now.
All right. Good evening. My name is Zachary Bishop. I'm an Illinois historian and Aurora resident, and I'm here tonight to speak about an opportunity that the city has to honor its rich history. As many know, in the decades leading up to the Civil War, Aurora residents aided enslaved Black Americans on their journeys to freedom in Canada, a movement known as the Underground Railroad. The city owns a site that was part of this powerful historical moment. 22 West Park Place is a city-owned lot located in Ward 2 on the east side. From 1841 until 1856, this land was the home of the First Congregational Church of Aurora. This church's congregation strongly opposed slavery and turned their space into a hot spot for abolitionist discourse in Illinois. In the 1850s, the church even welcomed famed orator and abolitionist Frederick Douglass to speak at its pulpit. The church has also been identified as the Union Depot of the Underground Railroad in Aurora, and many of its members participated in the movement. The First Congregational Church building has been demolished, and 22 West Park Place is now empty. But instead of selling this property or turning it into a parking lot, I propose that the city work with community leaders to transform the site into a place where Aurora's role in the Underground Railroad can be recognized and celebrated. This could be a long project, but as a first step, I want to nominate 22 West Park Place to the National Park Service's Underground Railroad Network to Freedom. In 2023, I successfully nominated a house in Downers Grove to this network, so I have a history of navigating the process. Being added to the network would provide prestigious national recognition and help promote heritage tourism in Aurora. All I would need from the city is a letter of consent for the property to be added to the network to Freedom. Last month, I emailed Mayor Leish's office with an invitation to talk about my proposal further, and this morning I emailed information to Alderwoman Garza and also my alderman. I have also spoken about this matter with the members of the African American Heritage Advisory Board, who expressed their enthusiastic support to recognize the history of 22 West Park Place. I look forward to speaking with the city on this matter further. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop. I'll ask Nick Thompson, Field, Casey, thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any other members of the public wishing to offer public comment?
We do not.
Okay, if there's no more speakers, we'll move next to the consent agenda and the direct-to-council consent agenda. I'll ask the clerk to please read both agendas in full. $26,003, an ordinance reserving 2026 volume cap in connection with private activity bond issues and related matters. 26,050, a resolution authorizing the extension of a lease with the Fox Valley Music Foundation for property at 19 to 21 Broadway. 26,083, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Section 2-500 of the Aurora City Code to increase the membership of the Mayor's Sustainable Aurora Advisory Board from 7 to 9 members. 26,0116, a resolution authorizing the appointment of Jenny Park to the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Advisory Board. 26,0117, a resolution authorizing the appointment of Mercedes Walls, Jamil Morales, Raymond Bronsky, and Keenan Cooper Gilmore to the Aurora LGBTQ Advisory Board. 26,0123, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to execute a contract with Air Productions in the amount of $318,978 for sound equipment at River Edge Park. 26,0125, a resolution authorizing the Director of Purchasing to enter into an agreement with GenServe LLC for preventative maintenance of the City of Aurora's lift station and facility emergency standby generators. 25,1052, an ordinance for the establishment of Special Service Area Number 225 Prairie Meadows for stormwater management purposes related to real property located at the north corners of Prairie Street and Rockwell Road. 25,1054, an ordinance for the establishment of Special Service Area Number 226 Wheatland Crossing for stormwater management purposes related to real property located at the southeast corner of Route 34 and Farnsworth Avenue. 25,1055, an ordinance for the establishment of Special Service Area Number 227 Habitat Green Freedom for stormwater management purposes related to real property located north of Jericho Road, approximately 450 degrees west of South Edgelon Drive. 25,1056, an ordinance for the establishment of Special Service Area Number 228 Cyrus 1 for stormwater management purposes related to real property located at 2725 Bilter Road. 25,1058, an ordinance for the establishment of Special Service Area Number 231, Eola Preserve for stormwater management purposes related to real property located west of Old Eola Road and north of Liberty Street. 25,1060, an ordinance for the establishment of Special Service Area Number 232, Abbey Meadows for stormwater management purposes related to real property located east side of Radant Road at Mesa Lane. 26,0139, approval of the minutes of the Tuesday, February 24th, 2026 City Council meeting. Are there any questions or motions to remove any items from either the direct-to-council consent agenda or the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion made by Alderman Franco, seconded by Alderwoman Garza. There being any further questions or discussion on the consent agenda, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Barrero?
Yes.
Garza?
Yes.
Masiacos?
Yes.
Nunez?
Yes.
Franco?
Yes.
Seville?
Yes.
Benuelos?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Bug?
Yes.
Spade?
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
12 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. The consent agenda and direct-to-council consent agenda are both approved. Do we have Jenny Park, Mercedes Walls, Jamil Morales, or Raymond Bronsky, Keenan Cooper Gilmore in the audience tonight? Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for your service. And if you guys want to step up, we'll take a quick photograph.
Of course.
There you go. That's you. Sorry. There you go. Keenan? ready? Here we go. 1, 2, and 3.
Let's give him another round of applause. Okay. Next, we'll go to unfinished business. I'll ask clerk to please read the first item under unfinished business.
250779, an ordinance amending and adding sections 2-185, 15-130, 320, 321, 322, and 354 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Aurora pertaining to the disclosure of economic interests, campaign contributions, lobbying, and the use of city property and the city seal.
Okay, before we begin, just want to kind of ask for level of civility. I think last time we started cutting each other off before people were done speaking. If we do that, I will be gaveling that person to close their comments. I want to also begin by, again, thanking Corporation Counsel for all the extensive work that you put in this weekend and answering people's phone calls and drafting amendments for this ordinance. And then, again, thanks to Alderman Bug, who shared this ordinance back with me when I was an alderman, and has been a lot of tedious work, or all of the members of the RAP committee. Typically, for the public, any ordinance that impacts the 12 alderpersons in any way takes a few months to get through council. This one is no different. Before we go into this, I just want to talk a little bit of what this ordinance does not do, because there's legal reasons and there's some discussion both among aldermen and in the public. Some aldermen have asked if we can write an ordinance that caps campaign donations for political parties or other interest groups. The answer to this question is that this would violate state law. The only reason we can cap campaign donations at all is because we are tying it to a clause about doing business with the city of Aurora. In other words, when we pick who we do business with, we can also decide what disqualifies them. This is also true with the limits or caps on donations from lobbyists. Second question we received, there were some aldermen who had concerns about a situation in our past to address several years ago when a city employee ran for office in DuPage County. That employee then successfully sought relatively large contributions from a vendor who did business with the city of Aurora. There's nothing we can do because this is very similar to the first one. After legal review, we learned that the city of Aurora cannot prevent a city employee from political activity, and the city cannot regulate contributions for a judicial race in DuPage County. This is per the Local Government Employees Political Rights Act. What the ordinance does do, and this is a very simple ordinance, for the public, it puts $1,500 cap on political campaign donations for any business or corporation that does business with the city of Aurora. It also prevents registered lobbyists who have business before the council from donating. The only businesses that this would impact are those doing business or seeking to do business or seeking a financial incentive in any way from the city. The other 5,072 businesses in the city of Aurora can donate at will, as long as they're not seeking business from the city. The ordinance also requires new candidates to file a 6-question disclosure. The reason we require new candidates to file the disclosure form is because the existing aldermen and the mayor already have to file those disclosure forms already. Currently, existing elected officials and roughly 160 city staff members are required to fill this form out, and they fill it out 4 times a year. This puts a tremendous burden on the city clerk's office because they have to end up chasing around 175 people every quarter to make sure that they fill out the disclosure paperwork. So one change that we're proposing is to move that from 4 filings down to 1 filing. Typically, they don't change. People don't change their jobs with the exception of a few summer jobs. And then the other thing is that it would be filed on May 1st, which is consistent with where the state files their statement of economic interest. The other change that we're seeking is moving from 3 questions to 6 questions. And I know that there's some discussion about that, and there might be an amendment on it. But we also publish all these answers to these questions online. It's through our open data portal, just so the public can see what that looks like. If they want to do their own research, I'm going to ask John if he'll pop it up on the screen so they can see. I know all the older people fill it out, but the public might want to know where they can find this information. So there's just a look at the campaign finance, and I think if you find my name, you'll find it there, because I do have a political campaign committee, so it requires both all the electeds and the 170 some employees to answer these questions. And then if you'll scroll down just a little bit more, John, you can see the rest of the questions that we currently answer or ask employees to ask. So, yep. So that's where this information will be published. And there are some more details than just moving from 3 questions to 6 questions. But that gives the public some level of understanding of what oversight will be coming. That being said, I know we've had multiple presentations on this. I know there were a few changes, and we uploaded a new copy with some of the changes that were recommended at the last city council meeting. If you want to see another presentation, we can certainly do that. If you want to just move to the part of the changes, the chief of staff can go through those changes. John, why don't we go to the PowerPoint presentation? Do we want to go through the whole presentation, or do we just look at the changes? Why don't we go through the whole thing?
Okay. Shannon Cameron, Chief of Staff. So simplified this, and also we'll talk through the changes that were sent to you in this based on feedback from the last meeting, as well as the chair of the RAP committee. So we'll happy to answer any questions throughout at the end, if there are any. So the ordinance matters really to help with any conflict or perceived conflict that may happen through donations, specifically around entities wanting to do or currently doing business with the city of Aurora. City decisions, like this should be made in the best interest of residents with a reduced level of financial influence and with transparency about financial relationships. Currently, as the ordinance stands, this applies to the mayor and all alder people, candidates that are running for those positions, individuals required to file statements of economic interest, like city officer, staff members, like the mayor just walked us through on the open data portal, and any individuals referred to as covered persons. So covered persons must disclose outside employment or business interests, real estate owned in Aurora or our zoning exterior circumference, ownership interest in businesses operating in the city, roles in organizations receiving city funding. That means if you're on the board of directors, et cetera, of a nonprofit, let's say, that applies for our any of our CDBG grants or our opioid settlement money, anything like that. Gifts or services from entities doing business with the city or wanting to do business, meaning they're in the process. So disclosures must include also political committees supporting a candidate, political action committees, seeing this disclosure is transparency, sees who's supporting those candidates. There is also contribution limits for vendors, people wanting to do business with the city, including there's limitations. They can, of course, donate to any candidate, any elected official, up to $1,500. Applies again to those covered persons, and it's to prevent large contributions tied to city contracts that may have the perception that one is buying influence. Lobbyist restrictions. We have updated the lobbyist restrictions in the newest copy due to some comments. We have also gone through and added specifically, or I know there was a question around if lobbyist employees were considered lobbyists, and in that definition that is outlined in the ordinance, yes, they are. They cannot make political contributions to candidates for city offices, cannot contribute to elected officials. It just ensures that people that are paid to do policy, to influence policy, cannot finance campaigns. And we've actually limited that to $0 in this new version. So there was a $1,500 cap, it is now $0 based on comments received. Public transparency. Transparency is the core of this, so the public can know what's going on and how, and see any possible conflicts of interest, but really the hope is to prevent them. The ordinance requires the disclosures be filed electronically, as you saw. The public will have access to them via the open data portal that is linked on the City of Aurora website. And of course, we'll link out to relevant state ethics, election records as well. Enforcement and accountability, there seems to be questions. In the original, our original ethics ordinance, I shouldn't say original, our most revised one that happened in 2019 that some of you are involved with, we still had the election commission at one point, so that language is in there. Here in the City of Aurora, we don't have that anymore. All of our stuff goes through the DuPage County Ethics Commission right now if there's any complaint, right? And these are things, as far as ordinance focuses on any penalties. The commission, the Ethics Commission in DuPage County, is the one that will make those decisions. It's nobody in the City of Aurora making that decision. And I think there's been some confusion on that. The goal of this ordinance, I think I've talked about this, but really it's strengthening disclosure and contribution rules, limiting extra work on city staff, especially as mentioned, there's 175 currently in the City of Aurora that quarterly have to report, and Madam Clerk has to chase. And then, just making sure that we're ethical, we're gaining more public trust by being as transparent as possible. Some revisions that were in the new one, I made sure those were highlighted in yellow for you all. One of those things, which is not up here, is there are some minor typos we fixed, but immediate family means any individual we added over the age of 18 specifically. So that's language that's not up there. That's on page 2 of the ordinance. On page 5 of the ordinance, we changed the date of disclosure. Instead of January 31st, now it is May 1st, which aligns with the state date where you have to file your statement of economic interest. We reverted back to the covered person definition that is in our ethics ordinance as it was written or continued in 2019 to look at the word candidate, and it is now reflected back to anyone filing their petition signatures. And they have to submit their statement that day, or they have 15 days. So that, of course, reflects also, again, based on comments we heard here, we reverted back to that. And that change you'll see on page 6 for those interested is for the initial disclosures for first-time candidates without current statements of economic interest on file with the city shall file that initial disclosure on the date the candidate filing or within 15 days. On page 8 at the top, that's the candidate definition that has shifted. And again, it goes back to the election code in the state of Illinois. And on page 10, that's where the lobbyist change went, and we don't. We also added the terminology government relations specialist. Lobbyist, government relations are used interchangeably, but we heard comments that maybe making sure that we wrote that out so it is clear is important. Lastly, on page 12, we took out some language about ownership interest with lobbyists to make it simpler, because that seemed confusing for some. So those are the changes that we made from the COW meeting to City Council tonight. Happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Before we begin, I don't want anybody to make any motions until we've made a motion to adopt in second. I know that we did print off some of the motions from different older people. Did everybody get those? Alderman
Amendments,
Barrow? Yeah, amendments. Did you get the amendments? Your amendments. And did you get yours, Alderman Barrow? Okay. Okay, we'll get to it in a minute. I just wanted to first make sure you received them before we went any
Yeah,
further.
and Alderwoman Smith has the most recent one. There was a quick typo, so she has Deb Lang.
Yes.
Alderman Seville.
And then there's a verbal amendment.
We talked about it before. But I don't have a written one.
No, there hasn't been not a written one. I was going to propose an amendment as well, but it's not written out.
Okay. So first, before there's any amendments or further discussion, is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
So moved.
Motion made by Alderman Larson.
Second.
Second by Alderman Ben Willows. Okay. There's been a motion and a second discussion on this agenda item.
Question.
Alderman Franco.
Can we have Jolene Coulter come up?
Jolene is here.
Yes, she is.
Jolene Coulter, Director of Purchasing. How can I help you?
So, Jolene, when we have people bidding on contracts and we rate them, who does the rating of the contracts to bring it to the city council to say they had the most points, therefore we're going to go with this when they bid on contracts that are...
So there's two different types of documents we go through. The bid proposal is the lowest responsible bidder. So that is the lowest cost, the qualified, they've met the qualifications, they meet the required specifications of the items or goods that we're looking to receive. There's the RFP portion, which is the request for proposals or qualified based selections. Those are rankings based on the qualifications of the provider, what kind of services, staffing, history, things like that. And when we do that, it is usually a team of people. For instance, a qualified base selection in engineering, there's generally a group of 3 to 5 engineers who are ranking and evaluating the proposals for evaluation. And that's how that score comes to you.
So that's staff.
Yes.
And the aldermen have no participation in that at all. It's all staff to rank them. And then it comes before the city council to vote on the recommendations of staff.
Yes.
Staff is hired by the mayor's office. So the point I'm getting at here is that when people talk about the aldermen, and one person in the audience put it very well, we don't get involved with that at all. We don't do that. You bring us the information based on who the mayor hired for the staff that makes those decisions in the ranking. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that aldermen don't partake in that process. So when people say, well, we don't want you to be nefarious, well, we're not even in the game with that. So I just want to make sure that's very clear to everybody, because I think that might be a misconception. And I'm going to leave that as my question for now. I'll probably come back later. I just wanted to make that clear.
Ms. Coulter, hold on just a
There's
second.
confusion out there.
Thank you for
Yes,
coming.
sir.
Can you remember a time when staff made a recommendation, like say on a drive test scanner, and then the alderman voted that down and chose a different vendor to provide that service to the city?
I can tell you that was the first time in my 15 years here at the city that's happened.
Okay, so the alderman can override staff's recommendations.
They can override it, and that was the first time that's happened in 15 to 16 years, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Ms. Coulter?
Once out of 15 years. Is that what you're saying?
That I'm aware of.
All of the contracts that we have gone through for the city of Aurora in 15 years, only one time the alderman overrode the decision.
That I can recall.
Okay, thank you. Make sure we all hear that.
Any other questions for Ms. Coulter? Any other questions or discussions on this agenda item? Alderman Larson.
Thank you. I know there's probably going to be some amendments, but before we get to any of that, I just want to follow up on some comments I made last week regarding the referendum that I helped circulate. As people mentioned, over 2,000 people signed this referendum. In my personal experience, people were very positive regarding this, their support for the referendum. But to be fair, that is anecdotal evidence. So I went and I looked at polling data of U.S. voters, and a poll was done in 2023 by Pew Research, and that showed that 72% of U.S. voters support setting campaign contribution limits for individuals and organizations, only 11% opposed the limits, and then 16% were not sure. As everyone knows, American politics are very divisive. It's very rare for people, especially across the political spectrum, to agree so strongly on one thing, and I think the data and my personal experience both show that that is the case here. We can hash out the details here tonight, and I understand that if I were to receive a donation, I don't think that would affect how I would behave, and I imagine that's how everyone else feels, but it's not, what matters is not how we feel, it's more how the voters feel. And the reality is American voters do not trust the government, and I think that is a distrust that the government as a whole has earned. It's not specific to Aurora. The government does not work for the people, and people want there to be limits on the influence of money in politics. So, this is not going to completely solve that. This is only within our little sphere, and we have limited power over this. But I think it's a step in the right direction. If we wanted to go further, I think that something like ranked choice voting and publicly funded elections would be more optimal, but I think this is a good step. So I'm in favor of this.
Mayor?
Are there any other discussions or questions?
I do have a question.
Alderwoman Smith.
So, more or less, I agree with everything you just said, Alderman Larson, except for the 2,000 number wasn't actually 2,000 because many of them were not city residents, and 2,000 wasn't enough to put it on the ballot. So I get where you're coming from, and I follow what you're saying. Nobody here has said we don't want to do campaign reform. This is back like the ICE thing. Nobody said we didn't want to do that. We're here to discuss campaign reform tonight. How we do that could be in another fashion than what we have in front of us. I don't know. But before we go into that, I would like to say, those who stood up here tonight, that when we went through our last elections and we were following the state election cycle, during the state election cycle, it is okay for an individual to receive, an individual political person running for office to receive $7,300. It was state level for corporations and organizations is $14,600. State level for candidate for political parties and political action committees, it's $72,800. The only reason why I say that is because as people stood up here tonight and pointed at us like we took money that was not clean money, or that we were taking money out of the state policy. We were not. We were following state policy. So when we ran our last election, what we did was within state policy. I'm not saying that that's what we're going to do next time. I'm just trying to tell you that when we ran in our last election, we were ethical, we followed the rules, we followed the state policy, and that's very important for you to understand that. Thank you.
Any other questions or discussions on this agenda item? Alderman Seville.
Yeah, I just want to say just a general comment right now, a little bit. I think everybody wants ethics in government. I don't know anybody that doesn't, really. We all want it. It's like, do you like ethics? Well, of course I do. It's like you ask people if they like mom and apple pie, right? Yeah, of course. So that's really not the issue. And I don't mean the muddy waters or confuse things, but the council wants to do the right thing for the right reasons. Simple. And we're trying to come to an agreement to be able to do that. I support the mayor's ethics ordinance with some minor modifications, but I think we all want to do the right thing for the right reasons. Last Tuesday, there was expressed concern regarding to certain aspects of it that I am listening to and share. I like the fact that we're capping it at $1,500. I can live with that, of course. Filing one period per year, I understand why there would be a need to do that. But I think I can live with the language that we have in here now currently with regard to city staff and the mayor's position. some of the concerns that we expressed with regard to the aldermen and families and those types of things, that's kind of what I'm listening to and thinking that it might be some modification. So I'm kind of prepared to make an amendment tonight, but I know some of the other aldermen want to make amendments too, and I don't want to change that. I think Alderman Farrell wants to make an amendment, but you know, I'm prepared to send part of it back to committee with the idea of them coming out with the recommendation to come back to us to vote on it and adopt something finite and workable. So I don't know, Alderman Farrell, if you have any comments based on that. I know you were looking to offer an amendment to this.
Alderman Barrow?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Lash. So at the last meeting, made a comment that I thought that it came out of RAP committee a little too soon. It's true that it did sit there for a while, but we didn't discuss it at many meetings because we had other things that we were discussing. So I spent a lot of time calling most of my colleagues here to try to have a discussion, and I have a little cheat sheet here. People like this, they don't like that. I can tell you that you know, the people that I talk to, they all have an issue, you know, with it as a whole, and so that's where the problem is. I don't think we've gotten to where everybody can be happy and live with it. There's some things that are really important to some people, and it doesn't have anything to do with anything nefarious. So with that said, I was working on a couple of amendments, and so based on my conversations with people, I came up with a proposal, and also listened to other things that were being said, and so then my original amendments have shifted, and so wanted to explain those before making a motion or asking for a motion for consideration. So where I landed was on an amendment which would include Chapter 2 going back to the original language with a change on the annual reporting to one time per year as opposed to quarterly.
Do you want to hand the amendment out?
Yeah, do people want it?
So they can follow along with you?
Yeah. So it would go back to the original language, except for that. I think that was important, a consideration. That was a selling point for Section 2 to take the burden out of the clerk's office. So that's in there, but the rest of it goes back to the original ordinance. The second part, Section 15.
Clarification, please give the page number and line.
Yes. So the page, if you look at page 2 and 3, so Section D. Section D speaks to the frequency of the disclosure reporting. So be made annually on or before May 1st.
So the short version is it what you want to revisit, because there were some people that had problems with the disclosure, the 6 questions.
Correct.
Was to remove the disclosure piece, hopefully take it back to RAP, but leave the rest more or less the same. Is that
correct? So that's the first part.
Did you say go back to RAP then?
That would be
he wants to
that portion of it.
He wants to move the disclosure portion, the 6 questions, back to RAP. So this removes it from there, and then we would have to reinitiate another agenda item just to talk about the disclosure. So we're handling it a bite at a time.
And then the Chapter 15, ethics, that's the meat and potatoes of what we've been discussing. And so the one change there is the changing the covered person back to the original language of when nomination packet is filed, when nominating papers are filed. That would be the one change to this. The other, I did try to make a,
That is changed in there, correct?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the other, so that's different. Now, it did get changed in what Chief of Staff was reporting on, but it wasn't like that before. So the other thing I tried to do is to entertain.
Give me just a second.
Yeah.
John Zagul, can you put this up on the screen? Do you have access to these? That way the public can kind of follow along with what we're doing. And Alderman Pereiro, do you mind referencing the page and line number so that we can all follow with you?
Yes.
Sorry, thanks.
So that's then chapter 15 in the first part. As you will see, it's just the language that was before, where it says candidate means an individual who has filed nominating papers or petitions. So that's back to the original.
So that's page 5,
Page 5, yeah.
line 2.
Yep. So that was one change. The other thing, I did try to have something added to this with respect to putting a cap on PACs and state political parties at 5,000. I was informed that that was something that was not permissible. So could the Corporation Council explain that, why we can't do that?
We can't put caps on political parties. That would violate state law. So political party is different than a PAC. But
It's on.
now? No, that's fine. Political parties are different than PACs, but political parties, we can't put a cap on them. They that would violate state law and probably the First Amendment. The reason we can put caps on entities doing business with the city is because that's the hook we have. Okay, so that's how we. The reason we can regulate them is because they're doing business with the city, or they're seeking to do business with the city. They're seeking contracts with the city. So that's why we can apply it here. So if a political party wants to do business with the city pursuant to the new section 15-130H, so if if a political party wants to have a contract in excess of $5,000 or is seeking a contract in excess of $5,000, then they would be capped. But we can't have a separate, regardless of their doing business, we can't have a separate, we're just not going to allow contributions from political parties. That's problematic. It violates state law, and it's I think it's a First Amendment violation as well.
Can you give us an example how a political party would do business with the city? I've always been wondering about this, especially since we're nonpartisan. I never really got that.
I don't think a political party would do business with the city. I am telling you that the only way that we could put a cap on political contributions from a political party would be if they were seeking or doing business with the city. I agree. I don't think they could do business with the city. I don't foresee a situation where they would, but that would be the only way that we could apply
Regulate
a
them.
cap on it. Does that make sense?
Well, it's a hypothetical, so I guess
Yeah.
hypotheticals could make sense. I mean,
Jordana, in this
Hold-
case,
hold-
like
hold on.
us,
Hold on.
we're not running partition, so that's what I'm saying. So we're still in the cap with that? I understand if we are Republican or Democratic, but in this case, it's city, we not run partition.
So it's a nonpartisan election here. It's nonpartisan for the city council, but that does not impact. So what was proposed and what I indicated could not be done under state law is we cannot put a cap on a political party donating to someone's campaign.
Any other questions, Alderwoman Garza? Okay, were you, I know you probably wanted to continue with your amendment, or you have some more?
No, so it's just very simple. I just wanted to explain where I landed with the amendment and the rationale behind it. So that's what I'm proposing. It kind of splits it into two parts. We can get the one part done and then work on the other.
Is there a motion or in a second to support Alderman Barrero's amendment to this agenda item?
If I can, well, I guess I kind of want to, if we want to continue discussing it and then take the motions as one at a time, or well, we do have a motion. We have a main motion and a second to discuss. So there's the main motion is the original language. I think Alderwoman Smith is discussing all of the proposed changes.
Seville go first, but
Well,
can I ask him just to clarify, because you said
but
two.
before we have a discussion on it, we need a motion and a second to determine
But
if
I need a
the,
clarification of what he just said.
those.
He said he broke it into two parts. Can you say what you mean? You know what, Mayor, please be respectful. You were the one that asked that earlier today, so let's all be respectful.
Well, there's
I
rules,
didn't understand.
so.
Yeah, there are.
And-
I need clarification before I can move forward.
Alderman Barrero.
Okay, so my intent was to adopt this amendment as is, and then a lot of the things that were being changed in section 2 would go back to the RAP committee for further review.
And section 2
is the administration portion. It's chapter 2, section 2, the disclosures. So it'd be 1 through 4.
So it's pretty much all the disclosures. And just so everybody's clear, the other portion, page 5, page 5, number 2 has been changed to the original base amendment as well. The redefining of the term candidate to be when you file your nomination papers.
Except for sorry, I want to make sure the mic was on, except for the highlighted portions. I highlighted what was changed from cow. That went from 500 to 1,500.
Alderman Masiacos.
Thank you, Mayor. Without trying to add to any more confusion, what was described, I believe, by Chief of Staff Mrs. Shannon Cameron, was that a candidate has to apply disclosure or submits disclosure statements at the time of filing, or at least 50, or at the most 15 days afterwards. And what I understand here from Alderman Barrero is they have to file it at the time of filing, or I should say provide it with their filing for candidacy when they go to the clerk's office.
Correct, at the time of filing.
So.
And 15 days after.
Alderman Barrero wants a little bit more of a stricter approach to that compared to what's in the new document now. Is filing disclosure at the time of filing for candidacy plus 15 days. And Alderman Barrero is just strictly filing it. Am I correct?
That is correct. That's how it's been.
Okay, so it's a little bit more lenient based on what we have here from staff at this point. So in regards to, that's the only change in the Chapter 15 portion. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so Chapter 2, you want to go back, administration, you want to go back to committee. And Chapter 15, ethics, are you proposing an amendment as well to remove the plus 15 days and that before we vote on it?
I'm open to adding the 15 days if that's your pleasure.
Okay, because it's already on the docket, so if we do nothing with that concern that you have, we just leave chapter 15 as it is, and then your only concern is chapter 2 administration. If I'm correct. I'm just trying to get it all straightened out in my head here, so.
There's a lot of moving parts. I wasn't
know.
able to keep up with the changes.
I'm not trying to put you up against the wall.
It's a good point.
Okay, so it's only just, you're at chapter 2 administration at this point, going back to committee.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and that section has been removed from your amendment, so it's not here. And there's no disclosure part in his amendment.
Okay. So the 15 days is not, I'm sorry.
Alderman White.
So the 15-day portion is not in your amendment, correct? Because I'm looking for it, I don't see anything.
But he's
No.
okay having it in there.
And I'm okay having it added in there, yes.
Got it, okay.
Alderman Bug?
Thank you. I would love to have discussion right now, but we have to do it so we're all looking at the same thing. So, when you look at the document, and you want to discuss it, say what page it is, say what line it's on, and speak to that. If it's from there to another piece, if it's page 1, line 1 to page 3, line 5, please say that. The 12 of us at least up here have no idea, oh, section 5, section 13, we don't know where you are.
And we can't
Okay.
hear that well.
Yeah, and the mic's going from this side to that. I don't know if you can hear us well.
We can't.
We cannot hear you guys well at all.
Any other?
No?
Okay.
I just want to hear it, but I want to know where we're at. That's all.
So just for some clarity, in Alderman Barrero's proposal, what he's done is removed the section that has to do with disclosure. So on this paper labeled Barrero Proposal 1, there is no disclosure language because he's removed it. And it's my understanding that you're okay keeping the language from the original document, page 5, section 2, I'm sorry, page 5, line 2, to read as it does in the original document, so it includes a 15-day grace period.
Oh, I'm sorry, I lost where you're at. I'm sorry. No,
The reason if you're looking for page numbers and line numbers for the part that he's removing is because it's not there, because it's removed. This is how it would pass. This is what you would be voting on if the amendment were to be approved.
So for clarification, you want to remove, because I have Barrero Proposal 1. Is there a second proposal?
No, sir, there's just one.
So you are removing page 1, line 1 to page 4, line 14. You're removing all that and sending it back to RAP. That's your proposal?
Yes, to go back to the original language, taking out all the new and anything deleted. So just putting it back to the way it was, except for section D, which changes the quarterly reporting to annually. Section D, the line 3, or on line 18, I'm sorry.
But wasn't the annual already inserted in there?
The annually part can be found. The annually part can be found on page 2, line 16. of his amendment. Frequency of disclosure reporting period. The disclosure required of covered persons under paragraph C shall be made annually on or before May 1st.
So we don't need to
When-
do anything then.
No, so just so, I think maybe I've realized what the confusion is. So the proposals that the amendment, or the proposals that I drafted, I took the original text of the ordinance and made red line changes as requested by the alderman that asked me to make changes. So the red line changes in here would be changes from the ordinance as it stands now. So this is not, it's highlighted to show what Alderman Barrero requested in his amendment, which is what he talked about, but it's not, so Alderman Seville, this has not, the red line language here has not been adopted by City Council yet. Is that? It was in the proposal that was discussed at COW last week. Yes, agreed.
Without the rest of it, though.
Yeah.
That's the difference, Mike. It does not have what was being proposed. It only has one part, and that's just the annual reporting. Everything else is not in here.
So maybe I can rephrase and correct me if I'm not rephrasing correctly, but it was my understanding in drafting this that Chapter 2, he did not want any changes to except the annual reporting, which would be subsection D. And
That's page 2, line 16.
Page 2, line 16 through page 3, line 2. I also kept the change, page 3, line 7, because the language quarterly, so there wasn't a contradiction in the ordinance. And then on page 3, line 18, that I believe was an earlier change, that was a earlier change because we've always reported it to the clerk and not to the mayor, so it made sense to keep that in. So I took some liberties there. And then the changes that, so those were the only changes that he wanted to move forward with for Chapter 2.
Can I clarify something you just said?
Mm-hmm.
You said he didn't want to make any changes. He wanted to, on my words, bring it back to its original state with these things that you are speaking of now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, those I think are friendly amendment changes, more like.
We couldn't hear you. They couldn't hear you over there. Alderwoman Smith.
Mike, what I was reiterating is that you want to bring Chapter 2 back to its original state from eons ago, 2019, oh my God, except for the changes that you referred to that council has highlighted and or taken out. Am I correct in that?
The only changes to the original ordinance.
The
are
ordinance
ones
being
here.
discussed, not 2019. The ordinance that is in your,
That's what I'm questioning. Is it the ordinance that you gave us, or is it the ordinance from?
This is what is not redlined in here is 2019.
That's what I
Yeah,
asked.
that's correct.
Thank you.
Okay. And my understanding of Alderman Barrero's amendment is that he would like the other changes to Chapter 2 to return to RAP for further discussion.
which is not part of the motion, but it can go back to RAP.
Which is not
because
part
it's-
of this, that's why it's not part of this. So I guess the question is whether or not you want to make a motion to amend the main motion right now is to adopt the Exhibit A, which is the document that
Exhibit
states-
B.
I'm sorry, Exhibit B. Exhibit A was a presentation. So Exhibit B, which is the revised proposed ordinance from, I'm just going to call it from the mayor's office so that we can keep track of them. If you would like to amend that motion to adopt your proposal, which was just circulated and is on the screen.
Madam
Council, can I ask a question?
Alderman Babe.
So,
Alderman Babe.
this is one amendment to move Chapter 2 to RAP, but there will be another amendment for Section 15, right?
We can,
Split
so we
or-
can do it all together, but if you want, I guess it's up to Alderman Burrow if he wants to divide it up or if he wants to do it in one swoop.
And 15 remains as it is, what is in Exhibit B.
So what, on Burrow's proposal, the changes that he wanted in Chapter 15 are, so what is not redlined is part of, so he went back to the candidate definition on page 5, lines 2 through 7. So that's what was in 2019. Then lines 9 through 24 on page 5 is consistent with what was proposed by the mayor. So keeping that language from the mayor's proposal. The next page, page 6 through, so lines 1 through 14 on page 6, that's the 2019 ordinance. Page 6, lines 15 through 24 are the mayor's proposal, unchanged. Page 7 is the mayor's proposal. The only changes in it are the 1,500, we went from 500 to 1,500. That is consistent with what the mayor proposed tonight. And the paragraph B, which is line 15 through line 19, which I talked about tonight. And page 8 and page 9 is also consistent with the mayor's proposal tonight. Okay.
So it's all one amendment, or there are two amendments? That's what's my question.
It's one amendment.
What's one amendment? I don't know if the returning the other part back to RAP is
I
a
would-
necessary amendment.
Yeah, so what I would recommend is that we work on getting whatever, let's work on amending and getting whatever passed, and then if you want to propose some language to, or some discussion to return to RAP, let's do it as a separate motion. That way, that way everyone knows what they're voting on.
I can't hear.
There's only one amendment. Alderman Burrows had one amendment prepared. We can vote, or we can open it up to a second amendment, of course. Real quick, there's a technical question, and I'm probably going to lose people, but if there's a motion and a second on this amendment and then it passes, we could also move to amend this amendment to include the 15-day grace period, correct? I mean, I know legally we can, I know I'm going to confuse people by saying that.
You're just going to confuse people.
Yep.
You can amend an amendment.
So we could fix both tonight pretty easily.
Can I entertain a friendly amendment?
Alderman Burrow, on your own amendment.
Well,
It's
I
your
would
own-
like a
yeah.
friendly amendment to add the 15-day grace period.
Okay, so let's all go to page
Yeah, let's get to
page 2. Is that line 23?
and give Deb a chance to catch up here because she's making the changes live. Okay, so page 2, line 23. So return starting at the 15th day, or no? What are you doing here?
It would take adding a sentence. It would take adding a sentence, May 1st or 15 days after. No, sorry, nope, I'm in the wrong spot. It would be, I'm sorry, it would be page 5. Who has filed nominating papers or petitions for nomination or election to an elected office, or has been appointed to fill a vacancy in a nomination, and who remains eligible for placement on the ballot at regular election as defined in section 13. We need to add here 15 days. So it's when you become a candidate. Is that correct?
I'm not sure how you're,
So page 5, line 7. That's where you're adding it.
No, that's definition of candidate.
So I guess I'm not following what we need 15 days for.
15 days,
I guess
sorry.
I've lost,
It actually, it's in here.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
page 3, line 3, initial disclosures. Whenever a person first becomes a covered person as defined in this section, such person shall make the disclosures required under paragraph C within 15 days of qualification. This disclosure shall be made with respect to the preceding reporting period. So it's still in there already.
It was in
What's that?
the 2019.
Okay,
Okay, so then we don't need a friendly amendment.
correct.
Okay. So
Glad we talked about it.
All right.
Mr. Mayor?
Alderman Seville.
Were you finished, Dan?
that was trying to just make it simple, and I hope that was simple, but it didn't seem like it was simple.
You did a good job.
So that's my recommend amendment.
Is there a first and a second before we continue? Motion by Alderman Bug, second by Alderman Nunez.
Mr. Mayor?
Did you second it? Yes. Okay. And then discussion. Alderman Seville.
Again, I don't mean to muddy the waters, okay? So I'm going to say what, and I'm very respectful of Alderman Burrow's amendment here and want us to be able to vote on it. But at what point, per my discussion with our corporation counsel and yourself, do I initiate the amendment that I was looking to have the council talked about and considered, which is, if I may state that now, Your Dana, which is I'm in favor of the ordinance that applies to the mayor's position and the staff. The concerns that I have, again, that I said earlier, was with regard to the alderman that I heard from certain people that spoke up last Tuesday that needs to be separated to discuss on another day back at the Rules Committee. I think what you're trying to do with, again, and I'll reiterate, what you're trying to do with the mayor's position and city staff makes sense. Do I wait till we vote on Alderman Barrero's amendment before I propose mine?
Ideally, the way it's supposed to work is we wait for a motion and a second on before even having discussion, because if there's no motion and second, why discuss it? Is generally how Robert's Rules of Order works. If there's a motion and a second, we can discuss Alderman Barrero's amendment, and then there could be additional motions to Alderman Barrero's amendment, or we can vote it up, vote it down, and entertain additional amendments. And just so people know what all the amendments are, I think Alderman is part of discussion on Alderman Barrero's amendment. You've made known what your intended amendment is. Alderwoman Smith, feel free to, you've brought 2 amendments. I'm not sure if you're.
He hasn't provided his amendment yet.
I understand that.
Okay,
But if you want to just let people know what yours are, in case they favor them and don't want
I'm going to wait till I hear Alderman Seville's amendment and see if I want to go forward with my amendment. Oh, I'm so sorry. I deserve that because I'm the one that said I couldn't hear them across the room, so I apologize. I want to hear Alderman Seville has amendment, and he has not voiced his amendment yet, so I will wait and hear from him to see if I'm going to go forward with my amendment.
Okay, Alderman Seville did voice his amendment.
What was your amendment?
But it's, if Alderman Barrero's amendment fails, tell us generally what it is you'd like to amend, and then we can work it into language afterwards.
Okay. What I'd like to have amended is, this would apply to both Section 2 or Chapter 2, I should say, and Chapter 15, that we vote on, that we take out all references to the alderman and vote on just the applying for the mayor's position and the city staff, and refer the ordinance that would apply to the alderman, which is everything else, back to committee, the Rules Committee for discussion. So essentially, if you divide everything in thirds, we would vote on 2/3 tonight and refer the other third back to committee for further discussion. That's essentially my motion. And your, Dana, we talked about the language. Does that make sense to what you?
Why don't we hear what legal's perspective is on that? But
okay, thank you.
Go ahead, and then I'll go to Alderman Masiacos.
So I can talk a little bit about the language and how this would operate, but okay. So because I guess there's a couple of questions, and this would have to be flushed out during the discussion on whether or not my understanding from my discussion with Alderman Seville is that the way he looked at this was that the 2019 ordinance would still apply to the aldermen. It would just be the new changes. And so what I would need to do is pull all the new changes out of the ordinance and essentially create, because right now they're like woven throughout the text of the ordinance. And so it's not like it refers to the mayor's office or mayor and staff separately than aldermen. It's all grouped together right now. And so in order to do that, I'd have to kind of rework the way the ordinance is drafted. It's less of a problem with section 15 because that is more, that's a whole new section. It's more of a problem with working through section 2. What I thought we could do, but I'm a little concerned with how it's codified when it actually makes it into the code, is that this is what we're discussing right now is Exhibit B, right? And there's in Legistar, there's an ordinance that adopts Exhibit B, which is what we ultimately vote on, right? So what I could do is put a sentence in the ordinance on Legistar that just says that this is only applicable to the mayor and staff and not the aldermen. But it becomes a codification question when this goes to, and that's that it becomes an issue for how we codify it when it is entered into our ordinances online and into the official book and published, et cetera. We want to make sure that there's not confusion later on. And so it's a nightmare scenario for Clerk Stallings, and I try not to create those too often.
Okay, so for now, we are just discussing Exhibit B, Alderman Barrero's proposed amendment. Any other discussion on Exhibit B? Questions? Alderwoman Smith.
My question, I guess, would be to council, is after the discussion here, are we prepared to vote, or what are we doing? Where are we?
We would be, go ahead.
We're not, are we just knocking his out and saying no?
Well, here's the thing. We have one motion to amend.
Yes.
And I would rather take, frankly, just for bookkeeping purposes and stuff, I'd rather take the amendments one at a time rather than amend the motion to amend and then figure out what order these motions all come in. It would just, we have a main motion on the table, which is to adopt the changes. That motion has been amended by Alderman Barrero. There's a second on the table. Let's vote on that motion, on the motion to amend, and then if there's other amendments to be considered, we can discuss those amendments, and there can be separate motion. There can be as many motions to amend as we want, but it would just be kind of bookkeeping. It would just be easier to do one at a time.
So we would be amending the entire thing to what Alderman Barrero said with the changes in 2 and then the minor change in 15, but we'd be keeping 15 as it is overall with that minor change. Is that correct?
As Alderman Barrero proposed,
and
yes.
then we would work from the new one? Is that
Yes.
what I'm
If
getting
it
from?
passes.
If the amendment passes, then it amends the main motion.
Alderwoman Bade, this is questions on Alderman Barrero's proposal, Exhibit B.
Yes. Based on Alderman Seville's motion, do we want to ask if Alderman Barrero want to pull back his motion and we address his first so there is less confusion? because these are two
Well,
absolutely
there's a
different
motion and a
things.
second. We're only discussing
Yeah.
Exhibit B. And once we're done with B, we'll move to other amendments. Because it's already confusing.
Yeah, that is why, because these are very different motions.
Because you might want to do one versus the other.
Huh?
You might like the next one better.
Alderman Bug?
I call the question.
Call the question. So Alderman Bug has called the question. Discussion closes on the motion on Exhibit B, the Barrero proposal number 1. I'll ask clerk to please call the roll.
Barrero?
Yes.
Garza?
No.
Masiacos?
Pass.
Nunez?
Yes.
Franco?
Pass.
Seville?
Pass.
And Nuevos?
Yes.
Smith?
No.
Bug?
Yes.
Fade?
No.
Larson?
No.
White?
Yes.
Masiacos?
Yes.
Franco?
No.
Seville?
No.
6 yes, 6 no.
Are you sure that's right?
Mhm.
Okay, I vote in favor of it. Yes. Motion carries on Exhibit B, the Barrero amendment. Any further, so we have just said that we will accept the Barrero amendment, so this is the new document that we're working with. And we still have, we just voted on the amendment, we have not voted on a full agenda item. It's my understanding that there are potential other amendments or discussion on the Legistar item 250779.
Do you want me to go? Or do you want to go? You finish.
Well, which brings me back, Mayor, if I may. Which
Alderman
brings
Spill.
me back to what I was considering. Is now an appropriate time to bring that up?
Go ahead.
Sure.
So can I clarify, in my desire to bring this up, what does this now do to the amendment that City Council just approved?
Is that a question for legal?
Yes.
So the amendment that City Council just approved now because that amended the main motion, so now that is the main motion. So now the main motion is what was previously Barrero's amendment.
Okay. So how would I frame this as our corporation council, my amendment?
So your amendment is that you would like to take, you would like to apply this only to the mayor's office and city staff or city employees, not to the aldermen.
Right, yeah, but in the same breath, to refer this item back to the RAP for the alderman for consideration, not with the changes that were just made.
Well,
Could you just do a motion to return it to RAP?
do you want to just, yeah, that's what I was wondering. So let me clarify. I think that, so what you can do is, do you want to, just so I can clarify, because Alderman Barrero, I think, once we're done with this discussion about what we're adopting tonight, it's my understanding that Alderman Barrero planned to make a motion to return Chapter 2 to RAP for further discussion. So, I don't know if that changes how you want to do your motion. If the Chapter 15, which is the CAP section, the ethics section, if that is you want that just to apply to the mayor and city staff.
Yes.
And probably the boards and commissions and everyone but the aldermen, I guess, would be the, is that
Yes,
accurate?
that is the meat of the matter.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I understood that. So, I think the easiest way to do that think the easiest way to do that would be to amend what the proposal, or amend what is being proposed so that it only applies to the mayor's office and city staff.
Chapter 15.
Chapter 15 only.
Chapter 15.
So moved. And then again, what applies to the Alderman would go back to committee for consideration and a vote and a recommendation, so we can come back here and consider that one. Correct? So it doesn't get lost. I'm, in my amendment, whether I have the council agreeing with it, I still want to take a vote on an ethics amendment for the Alderman, of course.
Mhm.
Does that go in keeping with what you just said then? I want to make it clear.
So tonight you want to?
Do you want to verbalize an amendment? Do you want to verbalize amendment to send this back to RAP? See if there's a motion and a second, and then we can discuss. We can discuss it, and if it has the votes.
I'm understanding differently.
No, I'm understanding differently. What I'm proposing is that we actually take a permanent vote on applying this to the mayors and city staff, and any candidates, of course. But refer back to the Alderman, as Jordana said.
The ethics portion.
Right, back to committee for their consideration and input from the Alderman, and with the recommendation to come back to council to consider that. Oh, I'm sorry, my light's on, I apologize. So.
Do you want to verbalize the amendment one more time? Take your time, sure. See if there's a second.
Okay, so my motion would be to consider all applications of Chapter 15 for the mayor and candidates and city staff, and refer what applies to the Alderman back to the RAP committee for consideration and recommendation back to the council.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Discussion on Alderman Seville's motion. Alderman Franco. Hold on just for a second. So for some clarity, well, go ahead, Alderman.
So because it's been very confusing tonight. So I want to know, I'm going to give you a real life situation. How does this apply to that? So when a fella who happens to be the spouse of the chief of staff periodically gives hundreds of dollars to the mayor, and then the chief of staff gets hired, where is that? How is that addressed in there? I mean, what part of the ethics ordinance would that be under? Would that be illegal with what we're talking about now, or would that still be acceptable? I'm just trying to.
Are you asking Alderman Seville about his amendment?
Well, I just want to know.
Are you asking Alderman Seville about his amendment?
I'm asking legal about where we're at with this. I mean, because I want to get real life situations, because right now it's very gray. So a lot of times when you say, okay, in this particular instance, this is what that means. So I'm asking what that would mean when somebody gets hired after they donated to the mayor's office, because we're talking ethics, what that means, and will that be allowed going forward, or is it not appropriate now? I'm just trying to clarify that, because we really want to see this in black and white.
I think the question is that part of, I think a better way to phrase that is that part of this ordinance as it stands?
No.
No.
Well,
Okay.
that's a problem.
Any other questions or discussion?
Yeah, I have a clarification. I'm just going to restate for to Alderman Seville.
Alderwoman Smith.
Yeah, I thought you said that. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It was the audience talking. I thought it was you. My apologies. I do apologize. I did not mean to overspeak. My understanding, Alderman Seville's proposing that Chapter 15, which is the ethics portion of this ordinance, to be, as it's written, to be for the mayor and his staff, and that the ethics and portion for the alderman would go back to RAP to be rewritten, relooked at, and in changing the ethics portion or going forward with your proposal wouldn't change the campaign finance part of it, because that's in Section 2, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what we're working on now is not the dollars, because we already went through that with Section 2. So what we're working on right now is the ethics portion, which, from my perspective, as we've talked about this the last 2 weeks, about the campaigning and what goes on and all the problems that occur, there's so much more that goes into a mayor's campaign for such a large city than what goes into part-time aldermen for a large city. So the restrictions that are put in here, in many cases, are very good restrictions, I believe, for a mayoral race, but far too restricted, and it's not dollar restricted, for a alderman's race. So I second what you're saying, and then this portion would go back to the RAP committee, for the RAP committee to rewrite the ethics portion for the alderman. Is that correct?
We'll review it and make recommendations.
Review it and make recommendations.
If they so desire.
Can you turn your microphone on?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Based-
Yes, review and make recommendations as they desire,
Based
correct.
off of the
Thank you.
original, oh, never mind, I'm not going down that road. Yep.
Any other
Am I
questions or
right?
discussion
Is it
on
right?
Alderman Seville's amendment as he's presented it?
Yes.
Alderman Bug.
Yeah, the document of itself, I mean, if you're going to split something up, you would split up chapters, not people. So, I mean, as the chairman of the RAP committee, I'm not opposed to looking at this more. But if you have questions, ask your specific questions, get them answered, and vote. So if you want the whole thing to go back, I'm fine with that. But splitting pages and sections of pages defeats the document. So we need to send the whole thing back, or Alderman Barrero's amendment just passed. Vote on his amendment as is. So send it all back or vote. That's what I say.
There's a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any members of the council that would like to weigh in on the amendment before we get a tornado? Alderman Masiacos.
Can the chair or legal counsel or the clerk help the chair to restate the amendment? The motion, I should say, the motion.
Sure. The motion is to amend. The motion is to amend what is labeled Borough Proposal Number 1. So that's the document you need to be looking at now. That's the main motion at this point. So the motion is to amend that document in order to apply it only to the mayor and staff at this time, and send the document, send the rest of it back to RAP for consideration for the for its application to the alderman.
But only certain sections of it.
Only certain, I'm sorry, only for section 2.
Good.
Only for section, only for chapter 15.
So what happens to section 2?
Chapter 2.
Mike?
Alderman Seville. Turn your microphone on.
Chapter 2 is already
already
supposed to
been
return to RAP.
Yes.
So it returns chapter 15 to RAP for discussion on its application to the alderman. Chapter 2, I believe Alderman Barrero would like to, would like to return chapter 2 to RAP separately. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted by.
Okay.
I just want, no, it's fine. I'm just wondering how that's going to help the tornado, but it's okay.
Keep glass. It'll keep glass from injuring anybody. I know where you're at. Okay, that was a question from Alderman Masiacos. Do you understand with clarity?
No, I do not understand with clarity. I understand, but not with clarity. And I seem to agree with my colleague from the 8th Ward. I'm not an attorney, but unfortunately I've had to deal with enough in my time that every single word makes a difference. If we don't have the page number and the line item, we've been through this before, in a different resolution in the past. We took a timeout, or we took a break to let, I should say, our attorney work out a revision based on a civil amendment, if I'm correct, not too long ago. I think either we take a pause and give the attorney an opportunity to work it out and print something and give it to us, or we just send it back to committee to work out the Barrero Amendment, Exhibit B, or proposal.
Can I ask a question of Chairman Bug? If the portions of the Barrero Amendment return, would you be open to working on other parts of this? Even if we vote on the Barrero Amendment and it goes through? I mean, I think if the Barrero Amendment goes through, the votes are probably there to keep it as is. I understand that.
As the chair, I'm obligated to address any agenda items that come to me. So yes, I will, whatever comes to the RAP committee will address it and review it and send back a recommendation, whatever that is.
So we could go through with the Barrero Amendment as it stands tonight,
I'm
and
going
then...
to call the question because we do have a motion in the second on the table from Alderman Seville. I'm calling the question.
Okay. Alderwoman Smith has called the question. I'll ask clerk to please call the roll. And this is, specifically, this is on the, what we'll call the Seville Amendment.
Who is the second?
Alderwoman Smith was the second.
Thank you. Barrero,
Pass.
Garza,
Yes.
Masiacos,
Pass.
Nunez,
No.
Franco,
Yes.
Seville,
Yes.
Benuelos,
No.
Smith,
Yes.
Bug,
No.
Bade,
Yes.
Larson,
No.
White,
Yes.
Miss Barrero,
No.
and Masiacos,
No.
6-6.
The mayor votes no. So the Seville Amendment is dead. Back to Legistar item 250779, which reads as Exhibit B, the Barrero Amendment. Next amendment.
Amendment is the Smith Amendment.
Do you want to distribute them so people can follow along?
Yeah, but I'm going to go off of this, so this won't be real accurate.
Yeah,
Just-
it's already changed quite a bit.
Just based on, so do you want this out anyways? Mine is a real quick one. It's going to be quick.
Yeah, I don't even know that with the borough, are you talking about one or two?
I'm fine with with two. I'm fine where we are with
Okay.
two. My amendment is to send Chapter 15 back to the RAP committee for review.
Okay.
And stay with the Borough Amendment for two. So Chapter 15 back to the RAP committee to have a relook with whatever goes back from.
So for a little bit of clarity, you want to send, there's a motion to send Chapter
15,
15, the ethics portion,
Yes.
which talks about the definitions of doing business, what it is to be a candidate, the $1,500 cap, and everything that's pretty much the,
well, I will take, my apologies, because I don't want to remove the $1,500 cap. So I do want the ethics portion, which is page 5, starts at line 1, page 6 through 24, page 7, 1 through 3. We could keep on page 7, 5 through 8. Page 7, 9 through 24. Page 8, 1 through 24. And page 9, 1 through 13.
What's your amendment?
I would,
My amendment is to send chapter 13 back, or
15.
15 back to RAP with the exception of page 7, 5 through 8, which is the $1,500.
Okay, so just so you're clear, you're making no changes to page 5 and 6.
Making no pages? No.
no,
I'm
no.
sending the
Send that
entire
back.
thing back.
With the
The
exception.
only thing I'm not changing is page 7,
lines 5 through,
5 through 8. This just needs another look. So all of chapter 15, with the exception of those lines that have the 1,500 in it.
okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion made by Alderwoman Smith, second by Alderman Franco. And just to restate the motion to send all of Chapter 15, ethics, with the exception of page 7, lines 5 through 8, back to the RAP committee for further discussion.
Right, 5 through 8 does keep the $1,500 reform.
There's been a motion and a second discussion on this amendment. Okay. Alderman Larson.
Thank you. Just a question about how this would work. It looks like on page 7, up at line 2, there is a section that those lines 5 through 8 are like part A of section 15-321. Are we going to need to keep that in? So this is, it has its own section, or would this become part of section 15-320? I just don't want it to be like floating in there.
I would think it would make, from an administrative standpoint, it would probably make the most sense to send it all back to,
Yes, my motion is my motion.
okay.
If you need to keep that 2 lines in there to make it easier for you, I can do 2 through 8, if that's simpler. Yeah, but I think we're looking at different documents right now. Yeah.
So
yeah.
we're working
So
off of the Exhibit B, the Barrero proposal number 1,
Exhibit B, Bureau proposal number 1.
which I think you're working off of, because it,
Yes, so what I was suggesting to keep in there is A, on page 7, A, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Line 5, 6, 7, and 8.
okay, so what that would leave is Chapter 2, pages 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then it would leave a little sliver, page 7, lines 5 through 8.
It's 6, too, page 6, the little sliver on 7, all of 8, and all of 9.
No, I was talking about what it would leave, not what it would remove, not what it would send back to
It
RAP.
only leaves 1 sentence.
Okay.
Okay, there's motion, and a second, discussion. Alderman Larson asked a question. Did you get your answer?
Yeah, I guess this might be a question for legal, if this is something that we can include in there, and it won't make the language confusing for the time being. If, this ends up getting passed and sent back to RAP, I just don't want a section hanging out in there that doesn't have context.
Well, the title for that section
Title for that section's too big.
is lines 2 and 3.
Yeah.
That's just the title. So it's,
Yeah.
we can codify it without a title. That's,
Yeah, it changes my whole motion because it adds political action committees that's not
Yeah.
it's part of what I've asked to have
so I
relooked
don't,
at.
so I guess, I don't know if I can recommend then, is it instead of, because it's on, because what it would do, what it would do,
Call the question.
maybe a better way of saying this is that, if you go back to page 6, we have section 15-320, political contributions. We have A, B, and then this would become paragraph C.
No offense,
that-
but this is my motion, and I'd like to move forward with it, and I think that this little tiny sentence will be able to, as we revise
Well-
it, will be able to be worked in.
Understood, but the Alderman had a question for legal. She's
Right.
trying to answer the question.
They're trying to change my motion.
No,
No,
the.
I was just, the
Oh,
numbering was
She's trying
differently.
to explain to Alderman Larson how it would work. She's saying that it would just change it from, it is currently Section A, it would move to Section C of page 6. Is that
My
correct?
apologies, counsel.
Section, yeah, so it's just,
It's getting late.
so, no, that's fine, that's why I was speaking really slowly, because my head's pounding. So, so what's in the 2019 ordinance is Section 15-320, political contributions. And I think that lines 5 through 8 on page 7 would just be moved into subsection C of that political contribution section on page 6.
Okay,
I
thank
think
you.
that'd be the useful.
Alderman Larson, got your question answered. Any other questions or discussions on this amendment? Alderman Bug. Your light's on.
It is. Respectful of my colleague, again, I will ask you to vote no on this, and I will make the motion to send the whole thing back to RAP, and I will ask the people who have amendments to type them up. Barrero would be the standard, because that passed, and we'll go through it line by line, make sure everything's there. But we're not, I mean, we're plucking out sentences and moving this back and leaving this here. No one could be able to vote on this yet.
Any other questions or discussions on
Yes,
this
with all due
amendment?
respect, my motion was a lot simpler than or my amendment was a lot simpler than the first two amendments. It was one section, and it left one sentence in it. It's not a difficult motion, and I am going to call the question.
Okay, so there is a
Mayor-
motion and a second on,
Mayor, we should have an opportunity to deliberate on this before I call a question. You can't make a motion and then say call the question.
Well,
too.
I'm sorry, but he's telling you all to vote
Mayor,
against it.
Please.
Alderman Masiacos.
Please, thank you. I'm trying to understand the logic behind making that big of a change. Because the first thing that comes to my mind is we're okay with lobbyists having $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 plate dinner for someone running for office here in the in the city of Aurora, and is a present lobbyist for the city as well. My concern is we're going back to making this a Barrera proposal light for all practical purposes, and I agree with my colleague from the 9th Ward. I referenced it a little while ago. I think we need to have everything worked out, things clarified, the words in front of us crossed out. That way we could ask more concrete questions on what the intent is of some of these amendments are. I think that's the key element right here that we're missing. So I also will urge my colleagues to vote no, and I will second that motion if my colleague from the 9th Ward, the chairman of the RAP committee, makes it to send it back to the committee.
okay, Alderwoman Smith's amendment is still up for discussion. Any other discussion or questions?
Yes, only that the lobby portion of it was taken out already because of, council told us at the beginning that 15 through 19 on page 7 was already marked out, correct? The lobbyist portion?
That's part of the Barrero
Oh, for
proposal that's in
goodness,
there.
yeah, that's part of the Barrero, yes. Right, that's why I didn't deal with it, because it's already been dealt with.
Okay, any other questions or discussion on the Smith amendment? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll. We are only voting on the Smith amendment.
Barrero,
No.
Garza,
Yes.
Masiacos,
No.
Nunez,
No.
Franco.
Yes.
Seville,
Yes.
Banuelos,
No.
Smith,
Yes.
Bug,
No.
Fade,
Yes.
Larson,
No.
White,
Yes.
6-6.
Again, it's tied. I'll vote no. I think we know how this is going to go
I
down.
make a motion to move the Barrero amendment that was passed back to RAP as a
Second.
whole.
So moved.
I will ask that if you have amendments, type them out, refer to the page number, line number in the Barrero amendment, and we will take them one by one and get this hashed out.
There's a motion to move Register Item 250779 back to the RAP Committee. Motion was made by Alderman Bugg, seconded by Alderman Masiacos. Any questions or discussions on this motion to move the current borough proposal back to the RAP Committee? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll on the motion to send this back.
Barrero?
No.
Garza?
No.
Masiacos?
Yes.
Nunez?
No.
Franco?
Yes.
Seville?
Yes.
Banuelos?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Bug?
Yes.
Fade?
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
9 yes, 3 no.
Motion carries. Register Item 250779 will return to the RAP Committee for further discussion. I feel like several weeks ago at RAP, I asked for motions to come forward, but they came out last minute, so please do some advanced work. I'm sure legal will appreciate it. All right, next on the agenda, I'll ask the clerk to please read the next agenda item.
260088, an ordinance amending the Ward 1 budget for fiscal year 2026.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second on this agenda item. Are there any questions or discussion? There being no further questions, will the clerk please call the roll?
Barrero?
Abstain?
Garza?
Yes.
Masiacos?
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
thank you. Nunez?
Yes.
Franco?
Yes.
Seville?
Yes.
Banuelos?
Yes.
Smith?
No. I mean, yes.
Bug?
Alderman Bugg is left.
Fade?
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
10 yes, 1 abstain, 1 absent.
Motion carries. This ordinance is adopted. There's no new business. Next, we'll hear the treasurer's report. Stacy still here? I acknowledge receipt of the June 2025 through December 2025 treasurer's report. Are there any questions or discussions on the treasurer's report? Are there any questions for the CFO? Okay. Next, 260150, the Corporate Funds Investment Report, fourth quarter 2025. I acknowledge receipt of the Corporate Funds Investment Report for the fourth quarter of 2025. Are there any questions or discussions from the council for our Chief Finance Officer? Okay, there are none. Next, the bills, 260148, the bill summary large bill list. Is there a motion to approve and pay the bills as presented?
Second.
Motion made by Alderman Seville, seconded by Alderman Franco. Are there any questions or discussions on the bills? Okay, hearing none, I'll ask clerk to please call the roll.
Barrero?
Yes.
Garza?
Yes.
Masiacos?
Yes.
Nunez?
Yes.
Franco?
Yes.
Seville?
Yes.
Banuelos?
Yes.
Smith? Bug? Fade?
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
10 yes, 0 no, 2 absent.
Motion carries. The bills are approved for payment. We are in need of a closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Open Meeting Act, Section 2C1, to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee of the public body. Section 2C2, to discuss collective negotiating matters. Section 2C11, to discuss pending litigation. Do I have a motion to enter into closed session and therefore adjourn the City Council meeting with no further action or public business to take place for purposes of this meeting? Motion was made by Alderman Seville.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Franco. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Barrero?
Yes.
Garza?
Yes.
Masiacos?
Yes.
Nunez?
Yes.
Franco?
Yes.
Seville?
Yes.
Banuelos?
Yes.
Smith? Bug?
Yes.
Fade?
Yes.
Larson?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
11 yes, 0 no, 1 absent.
Motion carries. The time is 8:33 p.m. If we can be back here in 5 minutes to enter.